Welcome to 24 Hours channel where we bring you the latest political and social news of the day. In today's program, we will present the main highlights as follows.
Massive floods and hailstorms continue to ravage China's central provinces. The doomsday has arrived for the upper reaches of the Tamhi River, causing the complete defeat of Beijing, leaving President Xi Jinping's government in tears and despair. According to the Central Meteorological and Hydrological Bureau of China, the floods persistently pour down on the southern provinces, resulting in widespread inundation, landslides, and destruction of roads, bridges, and infrastructure. The national power grid of China has been disrupted. Airports, train stations, and ports are submerged. The floodwaters sweep away cars and motorcycles like fish in a river. Not only that, but Chinese citizens have also uploaded 3 to 5 minute videos taken from their phones on YouTube and Facebook, showing not only devastating floods from the upper streams but also large hailstones, the size of balloons, causing severe damage to villages, crops, flowers, and livestock. All of this has left the head of China's government, Xi Jinping, in deep distress. However, he is helpless against the natural disasters. As the saying goes, it takes years to build and only a moment to destroy. Now, Xi's government can only regret and pray for Mother Nature to stop punishing China. The situation is indeed difficult because China's crimes are substantial, and now the heavens are punishing them. However, it's regrettable that innocent Chinese citizens have to suffer, facing floods, landslides, earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions in recent days, leading to nearly 1 billion Chinese people seeking refuge elsewhere. Mother Nature is furious, and that is the undeniable truth. The calamity is befalling Xi Jinping's government, while innocent people bear the brunt of his actions. It is a pitiful sight. Many believe that China's fate is the result of their selfishness, narrow-mindedness, and malicious ambitions to invade and exploit other countries, which the world condemns. However, Xi Jinping's government remains stubborn, disregarding international laws to pursue its wicked schemes. China is suffering from natural disasters and the pandemic. Nevertheless, Xi's government still deploys troops, armored vehicles, and missiles to the border between China and India, seeking to invade the Himalayan mountain range. This shows China's ruthless ambition, and now the heavens and earth are punishing them justly. The Central Chinese TV and major newspapers have not published much about the heavy rain, strong winds, earthquakes, tsunamis, and hailstorms in recent days, nor have they mentioned anything about the potential threat of the collapse of the Tamhi Dam. However, the world is well aware that China is being punished by the heavens and the earth for the sins committed by Xi Jinping's government. China's Central TV only briefly mentioned that the recent floods, landslides, and tsunamis have caused the deaths of only 3 people. In reality, the death toll in China is in the millions, and the economic losses are incalculable. Just like the cover-up of the COVID-19 outbreak in Wuhan, Hubei province, and many other regions, China is now regretting its actions as the pandemic spreads worldwide, causing pain and suffering to the whole world. This shows how grave concealing information can be. According to the monitoring agencies for natural disasters such as floods, droughts, tsunamis, earthquakes, and volcanoes in the United States, Russia, and Japan, they have reported daily on the continuous occurrence of calamities in China. The Beijing government is urging more than 31 provinces and cities in the south and east of China to be on high alert as the heavy rains continue unabated. The water levels of most major and minor rivers in Beijing have exceeded the red alert threshold. The possibility of dike breaches and widespread flooding in the lower reaches of the Yangtze River is nearly 100%. The persistent bad weather has plagued vast regions of China for many days and nights, leading to this dire situation. The mainland, with its nearly 1.4 billion population, is currently bearing the brunt of severe blows from Mother Nature. According to the latest statistics, the extent of the damage is still difficult to assess due to the continuous evacuation of almost all Chinese government agencies and departments in recent days. The initial estimated losses are over $1 trillion, making it the highest recorded damage in China's history. The disasters in 1945, which affected 8 provinces, accounted for only 3% of the current damage. This clearly shows that China is facing countless difficulties and challenges. According to experts, All of this can be attributed to the head of the Beijing government, Xi Jinping. His government has long pursued misguided policies, going against the laws of nature. China has been incessantly disrupting and encroaching upon the South China Sea, encroaching on the territories and waters of neighboring countries. Furthermore, China committed heinous acts by killing 120 Indian soldiers, leading over 1 billion people in New Delhi to burn Chinese flags and effigies of Xi Jinping in retaliation. Now, the heavens and earth are rising up to isolate Beijing and punish China. This is justified according to the laws of nature. There is a piece of information considered very bad and sad for China. The meteorological agencies of the United States, Russia, and Japan have jointly announced that in the coming days or even until the end of August, China will continue to experience major storms, heavy rains, strong winds, earthquakes, tsunamis, floods, and landslides. This situation not only poses a threat to the Yangtze River but also to over 200 major and minor rivers in China, which could potentially breach their embankments. The risk extends beyond the Tamhe Dam, the largest dam in China, which could be at the brink of failure. Even Beijing's Tiananmen Square could be submerged. Currently, landslides and flooding are widespread across the mainland. Some Chinese officials have expressed that this year is indeed a year of disaster for China and a catastrophe for Beijing. The country's 1.4 billion people are struggling through these challenging times. The damages from earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and floods are immense, costing China billions and trillions of US dollars. If the Tamhe Dam were to collapse, 2/3 of China's territory would be submerged into the South China Sea, and China would disappear from the world map. After the mainland suffered from consecutive disasters of flooding, landslides, tsunamis, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions in recent days, international experts have analyzed that the Chinese government has been excessively conservative, making decisions contrary to the advice of scientists and experts. They disregarded professional research, arbitrarily planned cities, filled canals, deforested, and altered the ecosystem in the region. Naturally, if you shoot a big bullet at nature, it will retaliate with multiple atomic bombs. China is now reaping what it sowed. The consequences are tenfold greater than the damage to Vietnam's western region, which is currently experiencing drought and water shortages. China has to consume a lot of water, and the agricultural losses in Vietnam are far outweighed by the floods in China. China is now facing many adverse situations and misfortunes. However, no country in the world is providing support to China, as they believe that China brought this upon itself and should bear the consequences. The law of cause and effect, the law of retribution, is entirely real and just. This world is fair. The law of cause and effect and Mother Nature are just. If the Chinese government wants China to be at peace, it must treat its neighboring countries well, especially Vietnam. It should stop invading the territories and waters of other countries, withdraw all vessels and oil rigs from the South China Sea, sever all illegal installations, and stop the destruction of the 7 unlawful artificial islands. If not, China will continue to suffer severe consequences in the future. Dear all, recently, heavy rains have caused disastrous floods in southern China. The rainwater is flowing directly into the Yangtze River basin, forcing the release of floodwaters from more than 1,000 reservoirs in the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze River. New round of heavy rain has hit Nanning City in Hubei province, leading to severe disasters in Nanhui. On the evening of July 2023, China's Central Meteorological Observatory issued a yellow warning for heavy rain in many places in the south, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. On July 2024, the floods have affected more than 13 million people. Since June, southern China has experienced 5 rounds of heavy rain. According to China's Central Television CCTV, as of July 2023, floods have affected 26 provinces and cities in China, impacting 13.74 million people. There have been 81 deaths and missing persons, and 740,000 people had to be urgently relocated. Over 100,000 houses have collapsed, causing a direct economic impact of 27.8 billion Chinese yuan. Currently, 84 rivers in 15 provinces have exceeded flood warning levels, with the Kui River in Zhongshan City experiencing the worst flood in 80 years. At 1 p.m. on July 2024, the main hydrological station issued a gray warning for floods. Due to heavy rain, the Yufeng Station on the Shaoan River in Dongliang District Zhongshan City, is expected to experience high water levels for the next 6 hours, with the highest water level exceeding the flood warning level by 264.5 meters, an increase of about 4 to 5 meters. Heavy rain also caused flooding in Nanning City, Hubei Province. Hubei Province is approximately 40 kilometers away from the Tamheap Dam. Since July 2018, there have been 4 consecutive rounds of heavy rain, with the highest recorded rainfall in the entire province being 189 millimeters, 1.7 times the historical average for this period, and some areas experiencing up to 3 times the normal rainfall. As a result of continuous heavy rain, water levels in the Trongjiang River section passing through Nanhui have risen significantly, leading to the release of water from the Catshou irrigation reservoir. On the morning of July 2024, the Nanhui Meteorological Station issued a red flood warning. The western area of Trongduong experienced over 60 millimeters of rain, causing severe flooding on some streets, leading to traffic congestion. In the Dailing district, some areas were severely flooded, with water reaching the roofs of cars. In addition, on July 2024, the official Weibo account of the Mining County government in Sichuan province announced that from 6 p.m. and July 2023 to 1 p.m. on July 2024, the northern part of the county experienced exceptionally heavy rainfall. In the Linsun Scenic Area in Kaohsiung Town, 211 millimeters of rain was recorded. In the Daimao village in Daihai Town, 107.5 millimeters of rain was recorded. And in the Daoko village in Daihai Town, 85.7 millimeters of rain was recorded. Heavy rain has caused disasters in many areas, resulting in at least 3 deaths and 12 missing persons. The highway exit in Mining that passes through Kaohsiung Town has collapsed, leading to 2 cars falling into the river, resulting in 2 deaths and 3 missing persons. In Shanghai, according to the weather forecast, heavy rain accompanied by thunder and lightning is expected on July 2024. The heavy rain will be concentrated from morning to evening, with rainfall ranging from 30 to 50 millimeters, locally reaching 60 to 80 millimeters, and the highest hourly rainfall between 20 and 40 millimeters. On July 2023, the Thiantei Provincial Meteorological Station issued a blue flood warning, predicting that from 8 a.m. and July 2024 to 8 p.m. and July 2025, the western part of Dinan, the eastern part of Quantring, and the southern part of Themnan will experience heavy rain, with rainfall ranging from 30 to 60 millimeters. The heavy rainfall may lead to geological disasters such as landslides and collapses, as well as moderate to high meteorological risks such as flash floods and small to medium-sized river floods. At 6 p.m. and July 2024, China's Central Meteorological Observatory continued to issue a yellow warning for heavy rain, predicting that from 8 p.m. and July 2024 to 8 p.m. and July 2025, there will be heavy rain in the southeast of Zhongshan City, northeast of Kuaichao, northwest of Hubei, areas of Hubei, the central and southern parts of Henan, the central and northern parts of Anhui, and the central and southern parts of Jiangsu, including Shanghai. In which, regions such as the southeastern part of Henan Province, the northwestern and southwestern parts of Hubei Province, the northwestern part of Henan Province, the central northern part of Anhui Province, and the southern part of Jiangsu Province, all experienced heavy rainfall, with some areas receiving very heavy rainfall ranging from 250 to 280 millimeters. Some of the mentioned regions experienced heavy rainfall in a short period, with the highest rainfall reaching 30 to 50 millimeters in 1 hour, and in some places, it could exceed 70 millimeters. Some areas also experienced heavy rainfall accompanied by thunder and wind. China's Central Meteorological Observatory pointed out that in the next 3 days, the basin of the Yangtze River, Honghuai, Hanjiang, Zhanghuai, Jiangnam, and Kuaichao in the south will experience heavy rain, with significant rainfall in the northwestern part of Henan Province, the northern part of Hubei Province, the northern part of Anhui Province, and the central part of Jiangsu Province, including Shanghai. Ladies and gentlemen, due to the continuous heavy rain in recent times, 25 rivers in South China are experiencing flood water levels above the warning level. According to the Yangtze River Water Conservancy Commission under the Chinese Ministry of Water Resources, heavy rain has been occurring in the middle and upper reaches of the Yangtze River basins since July 2022. The accumulated rainfall in the southeastern Guizhou and northern Guangxi regions has reached 100 to 250 millimeters, with some areas receiving over 250 millimeters. The highest recorded rainfall was 512 millimeters in Dongtu County, Guangxi. As a result of prolonged heavy rain in the Yangtze River basin, floodwaters in 25 rivers, including Liujiang and Fujian, have exceeded the warning level. In particular, the upper reaches of Liujiang have experienced the largest flood in the past 5 years. According to the forecast by the China Meteorological Hydrological Institute, there will continue to be rain in the Yangtze River basin in the coming week, and water levels in major rivers there will remain high, possibly leading to large floods with a high risk of flash floods. In response to this situation, the Yangtze River Water Conservancy Commission has raised its emergency response level for flood and drought prevention from level 4 to level 3. It is known that since the beginning of the flood season until now, Guizhou province in southwestern China has experienced 5 heavy rainfalls, making the flood prevention situation in the region extremely serious. Meanwhile, on the morning and afternoon of July 2023, many areas in China, including Nanning, Beihai City, and Songtai in the autonomous Chongqing region, which borders Vietnam, continued to issue orange warnings for heavy rain, the second most severe level after red warning. From mid-July to the present, many areas in China have experienced heavy rain, making the flood situation during this year's autumn season in the country complex and serious. According to data from China's Ministry of Water Resources, from late July until now, there have been 119 rivers in 8 provinces, such as Yan'an, Guizhou, and Sichuan, with floodwater levels exceeding the warning level, which is more than 60% higher than the same period in previous years. Additionally, there are 34 rivers with floodwater levels above the safe level and 5 rivers with the largest floods in data has been recorded. The first major flood of this year on the Yangtze River Trongjiang officially formed on July 2020, after the flood discharge into the Tamheap Dam exceeded 54,000 cubic meters per second. The Han River, flowing through Hobiac Province, has experienced the largest flood since 2011, and the Dongji-Anka Reservoir in Hobiac Province has reached its highest water levels since its establishment in 1973. The current flood situation in China is considered severe, according to the country's Ministry of Water Resources. The meteorological agency's forecast indicates that from July 20th to July 30th, heavy rainfall will continue in many areas of China, with rainfall amounts exceeding the annual average by 50% 100%. Major rivers, including the upper reaches of the Yangtze River and the middle and lower reaches of the Yellow River, will experience flooding, and some rivers may remain above the warning level. Ladies and gentlemen, after several days of continuous heavy rain, the province of Kamtuk in northwest China recently suffered a devastating landslide that paralyzed a highway in the area. According to CGTN news agency, the Provincial Department of Transportation in Kamtuk is closely monitoring the condition of railway lines, and maintenance staff are on duty to ensure traffic safety. Chinese authorities have warned that heavy rain will continue to pour down in many areas of the southwestern, northwestern, and northeastern regions of the country in the next 3 days, posing a high risk of severe flooding and increasing pressure on dams and flood defenses. China's Ministry of Water Resources has called on local authorities to prepare for the possibility of serious flooding, especially in the upper reaches of the Yangtze River and the middle reaches of the Yellow, Wai, Ting, and Li rivers. The China National Meteorological Center has advised that Sichuan province in the southwestern region will face the most severe flooding. Distinguished guests, the province of Sichuan in southwestern China recently experienced the strongest earthquake in the past 5 years since the Wenchuan earthquake. Experts have pointed out that this earthquake was caused by human factors. On July 24th, an earthquake with a magnitude of 6.8 on the Richter scale occurred in Luting County, Ganzi Tibetan Autonomous Prefecture, Sichuan, at a depth of 16 kilometers. According to the official report from the Chinese State Council, as of 9 p.m. On Tuesday, July 25th, the death toll has risen to 74. with 26 people missing and 259 people injured. Wang Weiluo, a renowned water conservation expert living in Germany, stated that half of Sichuan is the Thanhai-Tibet Plateau, with a short geological formation period. This region is still rising and moving, making it a high earthquake-prone area. Previously, the frequency of earthquakes in Sichuan, Yan'an, and Quaichao was much lower than 10 years ago, mainly due to the construction of numerous dams during the development of hydropower in the western region, increasing the risk of earthquakes. Wang Weiluo, a renowned water conservation expert, stated, I can quote former Deputy Minister of China's Ministry of Natural Resources, Tai Yini. He said that he believed that building so many high dams in this western region, which is an area prone to earthquakes, is too dangerous for China. For the earthquake of 6.8 magnitude that occurred this time, let's see how many dams they have built on the Dada River. According to publicly available information, there is the Songjiangkou hydropower dam on the Dada River, the world's tallest dam with a height of 314 meters. The absolute height of the familiar Tamheap Dam outside the world is only 185 meters. Wang Weiluo, half of the world's tallest dams are in China, only in Sichuan and Yan'an. So people in Sichuan should think about that. You are already in an earthquake-prone area. If you build a dam on this peak, it will increase the risk of this happening. Wang Weiluo said that although the Chinese State Council officially promoted another hypothesis, many Chinese experts believe that the earthquake in Vientiane in 2008 was caused by the nearby Tubinfo Reservoir. Wang Weiluo stated, in 2008, when An Jiabao came to Vientiane, Sichuan, the first place he visited was the Tubinfo Dam. At that time, it was already damaged, and the dam was about to collapse. Because they knew that there would be an earthquake, they quickly released water from the Tubinfo Reservoir. When the water level dropped, an earthquake occurred. An Jiabao arranged all armed police that could be mobilized by him at that time to go there. In addition to the earthquake, Wang Weiluo believes that the recent rare drought in the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze River is mainly due to the excessive number of reservoirs in the upper reaches. However, at present, many people, including officials, believe that earthquakes and droughts are natural disasters beyond human control. Wang Weiluo said that there was no such thing as a natural disaster in ancient times. If there were earthquakes, floods, or droughts, the emperor would be most worried, but he dared not say it was a natural disaster. Wang Weiluo said, the ancients believed that if the gods were always dissatisfied with the emperor, then the dynasty should be changed. If you look at the earliest understanding of earthquakes in China, it means that the land is caving in, and it also means that the negative energy is too strong, and the dynasty should be changed. Then, it really is a change of dynasty. A video shows that on the night before the earthquake, a large number of bats gathered in the sky in Mianzhu, Sichuan, an astonishing scene, and many people believed it was a precursor to the earthquake. However, the local emergency management agency has denied the rumors, stating that it is a natural phenomenon. A minute before the earthquake, someone received an earthquake warning from the government. Wang Weiluo said, this time they should have predicted it in advance. Just like in 2008, the earthquake in Sichuan was also predicted, and it was quite accurate. It's just that you predict something. The Chinese government did not inform the people. It was useless. When the earthquake occurred on July 24th, many local communities still adhered to the policy of no blackout to prevent residents from escaping. After the disaster, the local epidemic prevention and control department is said to have required nucleic acid testing before rescue, which has been criticized as inhumane. Wang Weiluo lamented that at this critical time, law enforcement officials are still following the so-called epidemic prevention measures instead of rushing to provide disaster relief. This is a crazy society.
So recent information concludes today's new bulletin of 24 Hours channel. Thank you all for your interest and viewership. Please leave your feedback in the comment section of this video so that our team can respond promptly. Goodbye and see you again.